Hey everyone, this is Andrew. I'm recording today from my office at Navigators headquarters, and I wanted to update you today on a project that I've been working on for almost a year now. It has to do with the refresh and the clarification of the Navigators brand. Now, normally when I'm working on a project with the Navigators, I'm able to give you incremental updates. I'm able to share what I've been doing that month or what we've accomplished recently. And in this case, I wasn't able to do that. Since this is a project that's going to impact all of our work around the U.S. and around the world with our U.S. staff, we weren't able to share any updates throughout the process. We had to have our leadership sign off on all of our big decisions first. Now that we've gotten that approval, I am able to come to you and talk about what I've been up to. But first I'd like to clarify what I mean when I say that I've been working on our brand. Because a lot of different things come to mind for different people when that word is said. And I've found that most people think of a logo. They think of a logo for a product or a company or an organization, and that the two words are synonymous. And a logo is a part of a brand, but it's really only just one part. Think of a brand as being comprised of everything that is said about a company or an organization. So when it's something that you say about yourself, that's something you can control. It's something you can be very clear on, or not clear on if you're clumsy with it. But if it's something that somebody else says about you, then you can have some influence on what they say if you are clear in your messaging. And so what we discovered over time is that how we were communicating was leading folks to not have a clear understanding about who we are and what we're all about. And this is understandable. You know, you may be familiar with the fact that the Navigators are on college campuses because I was serving on Florida State for so many years. But you may not know that we're on military bases. We have a ministry to people in their 20s. We're in neighborhoods and workplaces and churches, in under-resourced communities. We send people overseas, sort of in a traditional overseas missionary model, and in some non-traditional ways as well. We have a ministry dedicated to international students. And we also have a ministry that's all about reaching people from other nations living in the U.S. who still primarily associate with the culture in which they came from. And so all these different contexts that we do ministry in, it's understandable that over time, how we talk about ourselves might start to diverge. And yet, what we do in all of these contexts is more alike than it is different. And so our communication ought to reflect that. And so that was something we were looking to improve. So we hired an outside branding firm, and a few of us in the communications department, including myself, worked with that firm to try to discover the essence of the Navigators brand. And then once we discovered that through research and study, that we would take that and create some clear communication behind it. So I've had a lot of different roles on this project. I helped to select the firm, made some recommendations of firms to give to our leadership team to pick one. I've worked with the firm as they performed their research, found different people for them to talk to, help them to put together surveys to give out. Once we had the results of the research, I helped to take that and create the written copy, to help develop the new logo treatments, and to create the brand guide that our staff are going to be using in order for them to use our refreshed brand effectively. And now I'm beginning to train our staff on how to use that brand guide, now that we've completed all of the different decisions that go into what we're going to do. So a lot has gone into this project, and I really believe it's going to have a great impact on how the Navigators are able to talk about themselves. I think that's going to really help as people decide whether they want to get involved with us, if they want to really give their life away to the things that we're talking about and standing for. I think it's going to help as people try to decide whether or not to give to our staff I think it's really going to have a broad and long-term impact. And I think that what I hope is that as you start to see some of the changes rolled out, that it won't be a jarring, drastic, oh, wow, they made all these changes. I don't even recognize them anymore. But instead it'd be, oh, yeah, well, obviously that's who they are. But I think what I've discovered with the Navigator brand is that really what we've been trying to do is to say clearly what I think a lot of us have just felt vaguely. And that's a challenge with brand, especially when you're as diverse as we are in the way, the places in which we do our ministry. And so I don't want to get into everything in this video. It would be a really long video, and I don't want to make you sit through all that. But I do want to make a few more videos on some points that I think you'll find particularly interesting, like what are the brand attributes of the Navigators? If you were to name off 4 things to describe the Navigators brand, what would they be? I want to talk about how we've decided to differentiate what we mean by discipleship when we communicate in print and verbally. There's a lot of different ministries that use that word. What do we as Navigators mean by that term? How do we say that effectively and concisely? And then finally, something that I think you'll all really enjoy, what's our new logo look like? And how did we make the decisions that we did to make that change? I'm going to put out a few videos over the next couple of weeks to go through those things. I think you'll really enjoy them. I hope you watch them. Thanks for watching this today. I'm excited to get to show off more of what I've been working on. And thank you all for your ongoing support of my ministry with the Navigators.